no intro today, folks. We're getting straight into this. Seriously, why use the race card? I have no idea.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riv here. So the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. Marvel's Ironheart has released its first 3 episodes of the 6-episode series. And yes, this has been an absolute nightmare for Disney and Marvel. They've been hoping that you would have forgotten about this project they announced a few years ago, but eventually they had to produce something, and here it is. And after a long series of disastrous trailers and also casting decisions, well, it panned out into the series itself. The first 3 episodes are insufferable, and the reviews are very bad. Now, of course,
I think Mr. H review did review the that's a pun. Mr. H reviews the YouTubers. He also reviewed this first episode. His title is Entitlement. Oh, entitlement. What is going on, folks?
whenever this happens to a show like Ironheart, there's always journalists and social media users ready to run defense and make excuses for this slop, and it's happening once again because a lot of journalists are now coming out and saying if you dislike this series, you're a racist. Yes, they are blaming racism for all of the problems and negative reviews facing the show because, of course, they would do that. That's how these journalists work. Now, let's look at some of the scores so far. So this one comes from Metacritic, sitting at a 2.4 among users. Then you look at IMDb, and it's not doing much better with a 3.7 out of 10 rating. And this is the really controversial one. Rotten Tomatoes, you can see right now, a 59%, 74%. And it was temporarily disabled. They turned off the reviews temporarily, and ever since then, the reviews have been spiking up and down. It's been a real mess. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much because it's bad.
Regardless whether you censor or not, it's not gonna help you. Seriously, I think the problem is Marvel or Disney could at least, for once in their life, at least listen to fans. Don't listen to either activists or journalists. This is what they say. Reap what you sow. Reap what you sow, or in this case, F around and find out. The FAFO.
Even right now, with a little higher score than it initially had, it's still the 3rd worst rated Marvel series total. And it beat out Secret Invasion and Echo. I mean, that's not hard to do. And on top of that, some journalists have actually had the balls to go out there and give this the rating it deserves. IGN stunned the world with this 5 rating that they describe as mediocre. Now, I want to take 2 minutes and just talk about everything wrong with this series, at least through the first 3 episodes.
You know what they say, you can't spell ignorant without IGN. Oh my god, why do I get the feeling that it'll be stunning and brave? Stunning and brave. Where have we heard that before?
And it begins with the fact this is a relic of its time. It was produced during the heights of wokeism in the entertainment industry, and it shows. Okay, the virtue signaling, the identity politics, it's about as subtle as a punch in the face. And all of that is culminated with its main character, Riri Williams, who ironically starts off the show working on her suit thanks to a Stark grant. Tony Stark, of course, being someone that she constantly disses throughout the series, at one point implying she's smarter than him, at another point implying he only made his suit because he was a billionaire, ignoring, of course, the fact that he built his first suit in a cave with spare parts under the watch of armed terrorists, but whatever. So she continues her work at MIT, where she believes her massive grant is still not enough money. So she wants to start getting some other sources, so she starts helping students cheat on their work for cash.
Okay, first off, that I would say lazy writing. Have we seen this kind of thing before? I mean, seriously, diss out, saying that you're better than the white boy? Where have we seen this before, folks? Was it Concord? No? I don't know, folks. I feel like we've seen this kind of tactic before, but that's just me.
Warned for this by the school, and eventually the last straw is when she causes massive damage to the lab she's working in. She's expelled, and like a disgruntled worker who just got fired, who now goes and steals all the office supplies on his way out the door, she stole the suit as she was expelled. And again, it's through grants. It's not her suit. It's the school suit. And eventually, after she leaves, the suit needs repairs. And what she do to fix this problem? Steal some more. And that's when she's approached by a criminal gang led by Parker Robin, aka the Hood. And in his first couple sentences, he says, "We extort and rob people for money." And Riri Williams is like, Yeah, that sounds like something a hero would do. I'm in. And then they go around, and basically the lesson is it's okay to steal and hurt people as long as you're getting something you want and it's coming from a billionaire. Or in some cases, to do that, you have to like kick the crap out of security guards who are just doing their job. But it doesn't matter. They're going after something they want. And then she meets the son of Obadiah Stane, who is trying to not follow in his father's footsteps by becoming a black market arms dealer who immediately gives Riri all the parts she needs without question. Very strange. And then really the last like half of the first 3 episodes is just like trying to develop this moral quandary where the AI she produced, which came out as a AI version of her deceased friend Natalie, is like they're like, wait a second, Riri, maybe this isn't a good idea. And Riri starts becoming very suspicious of the criminal gang she's been working with and stealing from people with. That's pretty much the plot. Are you interested in this?
Like I said, that is lazy writing. Man, I think I can write a better one than that. What is going on? Yep, you know what? In my first channel, what I talk about, a gaming let's play, I react to Mr. H's video. Well, not all of it. Usually I told them that instead of using gaming let's play as a means to just, I don't know, play games and all that, perhaps you can use it as a means of refuge and escape. Because remember, I know some people who are old Marvel fans who grew up watching either Iron Man, Captain America, the first Avengers, all that sort. And you miss it. And I know some of you who are watching this video right now, you are fans of the old Iron Man trilogy, Captain America trilogy, what else? The Avengers series, right until Endgame. You guys missed it. You want to see the old classic, the original.
But the journalists are running defense hard and discussing film here, saying, despite what online trolls want you to believe, Ironheart is one of the better MCU shows in recent years. That's like saying it's the least smelliest trash. Like, all the shows for the MCU have been really bad recently. Like, what is that supposed to tell me? But Redditors are on the case. They're defending this hard, sharing this article titled, Ironheart Review Bombing Proves Some Comic Book Fans Still Can't Handle Women of Color in a Spotlight. This has 7,000 likes, by the way. Absolutely insane. And this is the article itself, where it says, Marvel's Ironheart hadn't even premiered and was already under fire, not from critics or audiences with genuine concerns, but from a brigade of online trolls. A coordinated review bombing campaign. Because it's a project led by a woman of color. And then you have Yahoo News here, which I can't even believe like they're still around. It's kind of impressive. They say MAGA trolls are attacking Disney's Ironheart, but here's how Black Internet is fighting back. Black Internet?
What is this, folks? Black Internet. Generally, folks, what is this? I'm baffled. Oh boy, I don't know what's going on here. Honestly, I'm so glad that I've tuned out of the MCU after Spider-Man No Way Home. I am so glad. What about you guys? What was your last movies before you tuned out of the MCU? Say it in the comments.
How are they fighting back, you ask? Well, I've seen some examples on social media. So we have this post right here with a famous quote from Marvel where Tony Stark says, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve the suit, which is basically an apt description of everything that Ironheart is about, right? But this person says these white boys are becoming more insufferable with their bad takes about a TV show their goofy ass could just ignore. I mean, you could also just ignore these comments, but the person who made the original post would respond saying, I'm black. And then that person would say, how would I know that when you're speaking like a self-hating bot? You ain't black to me until proven otherwise. The anti-racist strike again, saying the most racist things you've ever heard. So I guess this is the racism maybe these journalists are hinting at. I'm seeing it right here. But there'd be another article from Yahoo News here. Racist fandoms target Marvel's Ironheart series with bad reviews. Yep, it's all the review bombing. Here's another one. Ironheart fulfills low expectations with a weak narrative, poorly written characters, and dull action. It will also arouse the ire of trolls who target Disney's diversity efforts. Oh man, wouldn't want to mess with their diversity efforts over at Disney. They're pretty much ripping their company apart. But anyways, this is probably the best article.
Okay, before we let Rev continue, I think this has gone on long enough. Seriously, this victim mentality really needs to stop. What are you doing? First Pedro Pascal, now this. I mean, it's a good thing. I don't think Dominic Thorne is going to make a comment like Rachel Zegler did. If she makes a comment saying that, I don't know, Trump supporter or MAGA fans can know no peace, or perhaps Ironheart is weird, something like that. Ironheart is weird or something like that. And it's pretty much this TV show will fail. And if my calculation is correct, it is 600% cooked. I done the calculation. I miss the good old Marvel, you know.
Actually change the title. If you hover over, you can't see it on your end, but if I hover over the tab, it says the original title, which is The Ironheart Hate is Just Racist. And they got clowned on for that, so they changed it to, let's call the Ironheart Hate what it really is. Basically ... And don't worry, later in the article, they do clarify what it's all about. And you guessed it, it's racism. This is such a bad article, it's not even loading. But anyways, here's what they said, okay? What could be the reason?
Okay, I think the reason why it's loading, look, sometimes, I don't know, you know this. When I was looking for an article on The Verge, justifying things, I got hit with an ad, a subscription ad. Why? Because journalists are dying, well, mostly in the West, and you wonder why many people will not tolerate or perhaps don't listen to journalists anymore.
What could be the reason for doing all this stuff? These trolls, they often use phrases like woke as a criticism, which has no meaning except a blanket term to cover up racist and sexist beliefs. Multiple comment sections on social media for the Ironheart related post needed to be shut down due to a flood of racist, sexist, and outright hostile comments. That doesn't seem like a reasonable response to a Disney Plus MCU series. Let's make something clear. There is no controversy around Ironheart because saying so legitimizes a clear-cut targeted attack against the series. Fair criticism is understandable, but there is one word behind the review bombing Ironheart saw: racism. There it is. There's only one explanation for everything happening. Every bad review, it's just racism. Man, they are really running defense hard for this series. They're going to try to convince you that this series is a massive success. The reviews are just the result of MAGA trolls who are trying to mislead you about this show. You know, it's funny, like when I describe this series, there is absolutely nothing to do with the race of Riri. It doesn't matter. It's not important. The virtue signaling can be overcome with a good plot, which it doesn't have. It has a convoluted plot that makes absolutely no sense for an MCU series, and it's just laughably bad.
Here's the thing, okay? You can have a diverse character, you can have attractive female characters, but you have to understand one thing. Attractive female characters and diversity characters are only the cherry on top. How exactly are you going to have either a diverse character or attractive female characters when either your game, your movie, or your TV show suck? No, genuinely, how? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Don't do this like a tokenistic stuff or tokenistic stunt. You have to make sure gameplay, or in this case, for movies and TV shows, story must be important, must be front and center. Messaging must take last. And also, don't use the victim card or use things like racist, homophobe, transphobe. That's a clear sign this TV show or movie, whatever it is, will fail. Which is why I decided to use my third channel on my Gaming Let's Play series to be as a refuge for any fans who don't want to see Ironheart. You can just watch my video and then you will probably forget about them. And my Gaming Let's Play will probably help you remember the old classic Iron Man trilogy, or Captain America trilogy, or even the Avengers series, all the way to Endgame. Hopefully Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is much better than any of them. Kudos to John Watts for doing the right thing.
A lift route without an actual lift.
What?
Oh, nothing. It just has bad news written all over it. Damn, it's been flooded with water.
Again?
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. You can visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.